And Arsenal are unstoppable. They're incredible. The football is liquid gold. The cutting edge nature of this team, the clinical edge that they have found at the turn of this year, as people like myself predicted, I very much felt they spent the first half of this season playing with more control in a slightly more reserved nature to give themselves energy to keep their legs as we get to the middle and back end of what is a marathon and not a sprint. And they've really let the handbrake off in recent weeks. Top goal scorers in the league, as you can see now, with 68 goals, the best goal difference in the league at plus 45, the best defense in the league. And that is now 7 wins on the bounce for Arsenal. That is 30 goals scored in those 7 games. And the most staggering statistic, the most sobering piece of factual information that I think gives them such a great chance in this title race is just 7 shots on target conceded in those games. It isn't just the clean sheets, the goals, the control. 7 shots on target in their last 7 games conceded. This is ridiculous. The first team ever to score 5 goals. We're leading 5-0, in the first half. This is a phenomenal side. And you will have people that will say, it's just Sheffield United. You'll have individuals that will say, but they're only beating small teams. They're only beating struggling teams. That does not tell the full picture of the past 7 games. In those 7 matches, when you look at them, they were on the back of 3 games without a win, a draw and 2 defeats. The pressure was upon them. They first of all beat Crystal Palace 5-0, and it was a very good performance. A lot of the goals came late on. They really got going. Then went away to Nottingham Forest, who have given a lot of teams a lot of hard games this season. Ask Man United. Ask Manchester City, who drew there. Ask Liverpool, who snatched it at the death. Very difficult place to go. They then outclassed and beat Liverpool and scored 3 goals against them. Battered West Ham 6-0 away from home, a team that had already beaten them twice this campaign, and one of the teams that stopped them from winning the Premier League last year. The next game, Burnley, yes, okay, not a very good team at the minute, the same as tonight, Sheffield United, but they still had to come and get the points. They still had to go and get the goals. And do you know what I watched as a neutral tonight? Or not even as a neutral, as a rival. These are the games up until maybe the start of last season where Arsenal could get bullied, Arsenal could get intimidated, Arsenal could be not outclassed technically within football, but outmuscled, outworked, and just sort of shy away, a shrinking violet, skulk off into the shadows. But this team has so much quality, so much fight. It has men in it. It's a team of men with high technical ability, a brilliant system created by Mikel Arteta. They are deadly. And of course, in between that, they smashed 4 at home past Newcastle, who themselves are not in bad form right now. So there's a bit of a lie. Of course, there's a lie going around about Arsenal that all the teams they've beaten recently, they should have done. And the amount of goals they've scored is normal. But it isn't normal. The records that Arsenal are breaking on this run are abnormal. Therefore, to brush it aside as merely a little bit of luck in terms of who they're playing and when is it's intellectually dishonest, disingenuous, and a complete and utter farce of an opinion. This Arsenal team, in my view, it is so marginal between them, City and Liverpool for the title this year. But the one area, and I'm not focusing on the goals, the area that gives Arsenal the biggest chance possible of lifting their first Premier League in 20 years, Arteta's first Premier League, and becoming English champions, is their defense. The goals, yes, amazing. The creativity, sensational. The liquid football, brilliant. But it's the lack of opportunities that they concede. The lack of opportunities they don't afford their rivals. And one of the teams they played recently was Liverpool. Newcastle, not a bad attacking team, limited them to almost nothing. Almost nothing. Almost nothing. That area is where Arsenal can win the league. It's why I think they're such an incredible team. And interestingly, look, do they want to go out in the summer and buy that prolific goal scorer, which was a dominating point on many of our shows this season? Yes. But currently, after 27 games, this is the most goals Arsenal have ever scored in their Premier League history. And think of the great Arsenal teams that came before this one. One of the best defensive records they've ever had, the best goal scoring record they've ever had. I'm not saying they shouldn't add more goals to it, but this is a dangerous, scary, potent team. And I was thinking about this during the games. My brother went out. He watched the first 25 minutes, and he just said this to me as he left. Now, my brother, to paint you this light, is an Orient fan. And it left me with a thought that I pondered over during this game. He just said the Arsenal are the real deal. And I thought, what does that mean to me, listening to it? They're the real deal. They're title contenders. But they're going to be title contenders this year, next year, and most likely the year after that. I know there is this big question mark over what if Arteta doesn't win the league? And we've always said context applies. Yes, if there was an almighty collapse from now and they scrape fourth or come fifth, get knocked out by Porto, it's a different conversation. But that's not going to happen. They may not win the league, but they're not going to be far off of it. This Arsenal team is legit. They're the real deal. And they are going to be up near the top of this league table for the foreseeable future. And if they keep adding quality, if some of their young players keep getting better, they, in my opinion, will win major trophies. They really will. And that isn't because they've beaten Sheffield United 6-0. It isn't because they put 5 past Burnley. It's everything over the last 2 years. The thing that stands out the most to me, which has nothing to do with the opponents they're up against, because they've been hard to progress the ball against all year, it's the lack of opportunities they concede. It's astronomical. The last time I felt I saw a defense this good, this airtight, was Jose Mourinho's Chelsea in 03, 04, 04, 05. They conceded less goals, but it was similar in terms of that. But that was a little older, more experienced team. This Arsenal side, I still think, has got levels that it can grow into. Absolutely phenomenal tonight. From the first minute, killed them off. I would say the only sour element tonight would be Martinelli limping off. Because, of course, he's such an integral. I know Don thinks that Mahalo Mudryk is better, but integral to their team. But they took him off as a precaution. Other performances tonight individually, Martin Odegaard got man of the match from Sky. I understand why. He dictated the play. Another big game performance from him. And remember what Standard FC said. Big games are not always about playing big teams. It's a circumstance. Liverpool and City won. Therefore, it's a big game. And he delivered. I also think he got taken off at halftime, but I thought Bukayo Saka was dangerous. Ben White got his goal. Very, very solid in terms of his performance today. Listen, Gabriel Saliba, Declan Rice, again, with 8 out of 10 performances, didn't put a foot wrong. So strong, so powerful, so brilliant on the ball. But I really wanted to shout out Kai Havertz tonight. For me, he was my man of the match. I thought he's run off the shoulder. He caused the back line of Sheffield United no end of problems. Scored a fantastic strike, an excellent assist as well for Ben White. And I just thought that Kai Havertz is not only settling at Arsenal now and starting to be more potent, and the output is coming, but he's starting to look more and more like that player that we all saw in the Bundesliga. The player that Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, United fans wanted 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not saying he's quite back at that level yet, but you're just starting to see those glimpses, the confidence returning to this man. And if he keeps improving from this point, what a masterstroke piece of business that could be. Taking a maligned player away from a rival who was despised by about 75%, not Johnny Minerals, of course, but 75% of his fan base at Chelsea. It was a deal that was laughed at by the majority of Premier League fans. If he keeps improving, if he keeps delivering, this could end up, even at £60 million, this could end up being a masterstroke piece of business. I'm only talking about it from the last. I thought his first couple of months, I thought it was pretty anonymous. I thought it was pretty poor, if I'm being honest. But I would say since the end of November, early December until now, Kai Havertz has been a thorn in many team sides, and the confidence is returning. So look, very, 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 very interesting in terms of watching his progression from this point. But look, Arsenal Football Club, your fans must be absolutely buzzing, over the moon, ecstatic with that performance tonight. I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions. I'm going to go to your super chats in a moment, but I want to end my sort of opening. I don't like calling it a monologue. It sounds a bit shit, but I suppose that's what it is, by saying this. Anyone who's writing this Arsenal team off as if they're just going to fade away in this title race, I think they are wrong. This is a far more mature, far more grown up, more potent, stronger, and almost impossible to penetrate Arsenal team compared to last year. They're going to be in this title race right until the very end. They have a very good chance of winning the league from this point. And look, City versus Liverpool this weekend. One of those two is dropping points. A huge opportunity for Arsenal to leapfrog one of them, maybe even both of them if there's a draw. And this goal difference could be absolutely massive as well. Do me a favor if you haven't done so already and give the like button a smash. As I've already mentioned, I have launched a brand new YouTube channel and a podcast coming with, honestly, the biggest YouTuber in the world. I'm so excited. Scan the QR code on my screen or click on the link below or in the live comment sections. Go and subscribe to it now. And a lot of you have clicked on it. Not all of you have subscribed. So go and do that for me. It would mean a great deal indeed. Let's go to some of your super chats.